So the other day I received the parts for my plane. In my earlier video you saw I received the electronics. So now I should have all the bits and pieces that I need for the plane itself, and I'm going to start combining the two. Obviously first I'll have to build the airplane before I put in the electronics. So what I originally wanted was the Bixler 2, pretty much the complete kit. I didn't really need the transmitter and receiver. I had those already. But overall, it would have made my life a little bit easier had they had that in stock at the USA warehouse. They did not. And I wanted this relatively quick, and I think if I would have ordered from the international warehouse, it would have taken a great deal of time. So I opted to get just the plane itself, the Bixler 2. So it did not include some of the other little things. So I spec'd those out separately, ordered those separately. So I got the Bixler 2 plane, which consists of the fuselage, the horizontal stabilizer, the vertical stabilizer, the two wings. It also has the two carbon fiber rods for reinforcing the wings and also along the bottom of the fuselage. There was the instruction manual and the little bit small parts kit, and that was pretty much it. So what I had to order separately then were the micro servos for controlling the ailerons, flaps, because this one has the optional flaps, rudder, those kinds of things. I also opted to buy the small lithium charger. I bought 2 of the LiPo batteries, the motor controller. I had to buy the motor, and they recommended this motor adapter, so I bought that as well as some CA glue and the accelerator to go with it. It was foam safe glue and an extra prop. So I think overall I've done okay. Again, being a complete newbie to this, newbie to building RC aircraft and to flying them. Again, I want to learn how to do this. I'm sure I've made some mistakes. One of my issues and concerns first off is going to be the motor. This is not the motor that is actually in the kit. This is one that they had recommended as a replacement or an upgrade, and I have a feeling it's going to cause me some problems. Let me show you what I mean. So let me zoom this in a little bit so you can get a little bit better view of what I'm talking about. So let me open up the fuselage first. So in this section here, this is where the motor mount that they provided is going to go. There's these little wings, fins that align on there, and then this motor mounts against that. On their motor, the one that they provide, the leads I believe come through this opening. So I'm going to probably have to cut a small groove in my foam in order to allow these leads to come through. Don't see that as being a big issue. One of my other concerns is that there's not an exact match on the bolt hole pattern that's on here. So it may work, it may not work. I may have to build a different motor mount for this particular motor, or I may try to find and get a different motor, maybe the actual one that belongs on here. There is a adapter, the motor adapter that goes on the end here for the prop. I think that's going to work. My concern is that since where the leads are, that's the fixed part and this is the rotating part. Hopefully there's enough clearance in there and I'll have enough room for the motor actually turning and not cause me any issues. So that's one of my concerns. Another one of my concerns is going to be related to the chassis and the electronics chassis, and as it fits into my body. I bought from 3D Robotics, I bought the Bixler chassis. I have it assembled. The issue with that is going to be that it's designed for the Bixler 1, not the Bixler 2. So it's slightly different. Let me see if I can show you. So here's the opening for the canopy. That's where the chassis needs to go. it does sort of fit, but the angles and everything are off. So I'm going to probably have to cut away some of this and make this fit in. I want this to be a little bit neater than what it is. I've also got to come up with a means of securing this in here, so upon landing or hitting, my electronics isn't just going to go flying and destroy everything. I want it to be a little bit better than putting a rubber band around it, but something yet that's going to allow me to easily take this in and out. Also, because of my ArduPilot, I have the side USB connector on mine. So I'm going to have to consider if this can come out easily. That may not be a problem, but I may have to consider maybe making a small opening so I can just leave this all assembled, plug in my USB cable and make my connection more easily and more quickly without constantly removing and replacing things back and forth. I think that's going to work a little bit better because I plan on having to do a lot of that. It's not just, download my stuff one time and be done with it. So I'm going to have to connect up on a real regular basis. Also, in doing some reading and looking at the provided instructions, the provided instructions are okay, but you can find a lot better instructions and information online. I found a number of good ones that take you step by step, both as like on Instructables by pictures. There are also some good ones on YouTube. So I plan on making use of a variety of resources for figuring out how I'm going to put this together. Also, what I think I'm going to plan on doing, because pretty early on you have to glue the two halves together. I don't think I'm going to do that right away. I think I'm going to assemble as much as I can and then rubber band things together, do some initial testing, because I'm not sure how I want to place the components in there. Being a newbie to this, I know about center of gravity, I know how I can make those adjustments. Maybe I want to end up putting a larger battery in. I do have some movement and some control with the placement of the battery in the center of gravity. But I may want to get back in here, and I've seen people who have cut access panels on the side. I'm not sure I want to do that. I want to leave this as strong as possible without make as few openings as possible cuts in the fuselage. A couple other things that I did see online that I particularly liked is that some have commented on this opening at the bottom for allowing air to help cool battery and motor controllers and stuff, that upon landing you get a lot of crud in there and you end up with a lot of crud then on the interior of your fuselage. So some have taped that over, which I think I'm going to do, but then still need an inlet for air. So some have cut an opening in the front, sort of like a scoop, to allow that air to flow through. So I'm looking at seriously doing that. So I'll probably make that mod, the air scoop, the mod in terms of allowing the Bixler chassis to fit in here a little better as well. I'm also, upon reading, a number of people suggested reinforcing the different parts of the plane. For example, they mentioned taking some have used the fiberglass drywall tape, and they have reinforced the different parts of the plane. Some have used like a 3M clear packaging tape and recommended doing that on all the leading edges of like the horizontal stabilizer, the wings, and vertical stabilizer, and even running a piece down the bottom of the fuselage. They said that helps tremendously. So I'm going to take that advice and do that. I have a feeling, again, being a newbie, I am realistic. I know this is going to crash. My hopes is that there'll be soft crashes and there'll be few, but I have to anticipate that there is going to be some carnage involved with this. So that's where I'm at right now. So my next stage is going to start doing some of the basic assembly of this, get these different components in, do some initial testing after that. So I'll continue to post videos as I go through this process. So if any of you are also going through this process, hopefully this will be of some help to you. All right, thank you very much, and I'll see you again in the next video.